Hello everyone, thank you for being back with me for another cup of reflectivity. This one is getting really excited. We have some recurring visitors here once again. Today I pulled YOD, which is the creation code number 10, which was the first code that we worked with when I started out this podcast. And I've been feeling it in the background this whole time. And it's really starting to amp up these days. And then with it, I also pulled SAMECH, creation code 15, which we worked with last week. And again, not surprising because these energy influences don't just run for 1 week and then they're done. They keep working with us. And as I was sitting with the energy today, it really hit home how much the energies are revving up and are being intensified right now. And I kept hearing the phrase, all systems go, all systems go. And that is really what I'm sensing. I can see this starting to happen in my own life as well. And I was getting so many visuals with this. So I really hope that I can recapture all of the messages and energies that I was tuning into in my meditation this morning. So I'm really feeling this energy of a funneling, of spiritual energy, of intention. And one of the visuals I was getting was of, it's like a task force of some sort, where all this time we've been prepared. First of all, we've been through boot camp throughout all of our lives. It's been boot camp, and most of the time it wasn't easy. But it's like we were being prepared for our individual missions, because this is the time when we're really starting to step into service. And I'm sure that a lot of you listening to this have already been in service for a long time, or at the very least have had the vision of having a mission, having a certain purpose, being here to be of service in your minds. And it feels like this is the time when the level of our service mission is really starting to come online, like the next level up. The service mission that we really came here for. Everything else up to this point feels like it has been a preparation and a fine-tuning and a getting ready for. And I was really getting this image of the preparations that have been underway. Well, you could say for all of our lives, but especially these last months, perhaps even last couple of years, where on a higher level, at the level of our higher selves, at the soul level, this whole plan, and I'm talking collectively here as well as individually, or rather our individual level as being part of this collective higher vision and plan. And again, coming back to this visual of the task force, I am seeing like the higher ups, the level of the executives, the ones that are in charge of really seeing the bigger picture, of really knowing what needs to be done, what the bigger overall vision is, and all the little steps and details that need to be in place in order for us to really, as a collective, reach this higher vision. And every player in this bigger mission has been prepared, has been going through their schooling, and has been put into position. And that's the feeling that I'm really tapping into right now. And of course, this is going to play out differently for each and every one of us in our own unique timing. So at this time, it feels like we have been put into place. We have been prepared. We know what our individual role is. So let's run with this vision of this task force, whatever their goal is, whatever their task is that they're trying to get at. We are now in this phase of being alerted that it's about time to being put into action. Sorry guys, I'm just getting so many visuals and I'm trying to find the best flow through them because all of them hold so much significance. Let me back up a little bit here and talk about this energy of this funnel that I keep feeling. And the first image that came through was a wind funnel, where this wind intensity being spirit, the spiritual energies, are really picking up now. They're gaining speed. They're gaining force. And when this intense wind energy is being funneled through a narrowing passage, that force gets freaking intense. And it's an energy of momentum that we just have to go with, or else it's going to get really uncomfortable. And so another message that I'm getting with all of this is, and I talked about this in last week's podcast, how a lot of us are experiencing old remnants, all the leftover roots, if you will, of our old stories coming up to the surface so we can really heal all of it and let it go once and for all. And of course, this is an ongoing process. It's not just going to be done with overnight. However, what I'm sensing here is that, yes, do keep working with anything that's coming to the surface. Absolutely. Be present with it. Pay attention to it. Work with it. And also get help if you need it. Again, samech is this energy of mutual support and co-creation. So if you're having a hard time letting others help you or asking for help, this is a good time now to let go of that and to really call it in. Call in your support team. And if you are struggling with whatever's coming up to the surface within you to be worked with, do get help. It's so much easier to have support with all of this. We're not meant to do it all alone. So again, do the inner work, but at this time, don't let it slow you down and don't let it hold you back any longer. Sometimes we use everything that we haven't fully dealt with yet, healed with yet, as an excuse to let it hold us back because of insecurities and fears and all the old stories. And what I'm sensing here is that go forward anyways. I just heard go and join the fray. Take your part in this bigger picture, this team of spirit in human incarnation being of service. Trust that anything that's still needing to be released will be flushed out. And this is where this energy of this funnel is getting really potent, because it can really assist us in flushing out the old much more rapidly. So it might be uncomfortable, but also it's quick. It's quick. It doesn't have to take forever. It's been taking us long enough until now. No judgment on that. But now's the time when things really can shift quickly. So be ready for that. Another image that I keep getting here, not very comfortable. I'm just going to run with it anyways. I'm getting this image of a blood vessel that's been, little stagnant, where the blood has been thick and slow moving, where there has been plaque building up because it's been so slow. And now suddenly this blood flow is getting a whole infusion of new energy. The heart's pumping, full of life force, inspired by spirit. Now this blood is starting to take on a whole different consistency. There's fresh blood coming through, nourished, fluid, able to carry the oxygen and bring it to the rest of the body. And I'm feeling this speeding up of this blood flow through the vessels. And with that, the plaque that's been collecting is being broken up and carried away. And that can come with a lot of discomfort and fears. You know, all the worries of like, oh my gosh, am I going to have an embolism? What's going to happen? Is it going to get stuck again? Is it going to be worse than before? I don't know where it's going to settle next, right? So that represents our inner worries, concerns, fears that we typically have to face any time that we embrace a change in our lives, because things become uncertain now. But the feeling that I'm getting is if we just go with it and don't resist it, and if we trust that the body has its own innate wisdom, that these blood clots will be carried through and taken care of. They will be able to dissolve and just reintegrate into the body. And it's not going to be a problem unless we put on the brakes. And then this ride can become very uncomfortable. And I'm not talking life or death here, of course. I'm not talking about quite literal embolisms or anything of that sort. But it kind of makes sense that I was getting this image because it is talking about our life force, isn't it? In our physicality as well. And how spirit and our physical bodies are really intertwined and working together here. The blood is the carrier of our life force, energy, spiritual energy, light, information. So go with the energy. If your life is intensifying right now and the speed is picking up, just trust it. Just trust it. Don't let yourself be held back by your stuff. And this is also an invitation to simplify, to let go of things that no longer serve. That could be quite physical objects, like objects that we don't need anymore. But I'm mostly picking up on our old cycles, on old patterns, anything that hasn't been resolved yet. Any areas where we might still be holding resentments. Perfectionism, self-criticism, any old relationships we're still holding on to, old identities. So letting go of the old and really being willing to step up and trusting that everything will find its own flow and be released much more quickly and easily if we just go with it and trust it. YOD and actually SAMECH as well are very powerful spiritual high frequency energies. It's that soul channel. And it is here to be of service and to increase the frequency here for humanity. And we are all of us channels for that higher frequency that can come through in so many different ways depending on your own unique preferences and passions. So whether you are a creative artist, a creator, a business entrepreneur, or you are an inventor, a healer, a teacher, a guide, a therapist of any sort, you're here to let your higher gifts become fully activated now and to fully step into your mission. And for that, you need to take your place now and be ready for action. That brings me back around to this whole image of this task force. So we're all being put into place now. And we're only waiting for the go. And for each of the players here of this team, those signals will come at different times, right? Depending on what your role is. Because this is a team effort. We're all playing together. And we're trusting the higher ups, in this case, spirit, our spiritual intuitive guidance, to know when it's our time. And then we just go for it. When we have that go signal, the energies really need to be focused in on. It's that honing in on what needs to happen right now. Letting go of any other distractions, anything that no longer needs our attention right now in this moment. And to really focus in on our specific task. Full force, full speed. Until our mission, our little micro mission here might be accomplished. And then it's time to step back and wait for the next player to take over until we get our next go call. So with this, I'm getting this message here of the importance of modulating our energies. So if you're thinking of, let's go with a garden hose. If that garden hose has a very small circumference, small diameter, and you're really cranking up the volume of water that you're pushing through, if nobody's holding that hose, it's going to go crazy and spew water all over the place. It has a force behind it. And you better not get in the way. But if we pick up that hose beforehand, before we get that water going, and then we hold it and we target where we want this flow, this powerful flow of gushing water to go, this energy, then we can really direct and be effective with it. However, that's a lot of focus and power and intensity to deal with. And so we need to become adept here at loosening up, relaxing, and opening up this diameter of this hose once in a while. For example, in the evenings when we want to go to sleep, when we want to calm down the nervous system. So that this force of energy doesn't require so much intense focus from us all the time. So it's like a martial artist being prepared, being fully grounded, having this open, balanced stance where anything that comes at them, it won't be able to push them over because they're fully grounded and centered within themselves. And their vision, it takes on that almost 360-degree angle where they are just open to anything that's coming into their energy field so that they can respond to it when needed. So it's a very relaxed, open focus. However, it's still contained within a strong presence of awareness in the here and now. But when they have to respond to something that's coming in, let's say they're now battling with an opponent, then their energy needs to become really focused to deal with whatever is happening right here now and be able to react at lightning speed and adapt to whatever is being presented. There's not much time here for thought and thinking things through and planning your emotions. You have to be ready to respond in the moment. And that's the energy that I'm getting that we're now collectively stepping into, where we have been prepared. We have to trust that our bodies know what to do. We don't have to overthink things anymore because that's just holding us back. We're now ready to step into motion. When we get that go signal, it's all systems go and we respond and we flow with it and we take action. We take initiative. And when it's time to open up our energy flow again, to open up this funnel so that the energy releases us from this intensity so that we can once again pay attention to a bigger picture and wait for the next signal of when it's time to respond. That back and forth between the masculine energies of activity and the feminine energies of receptivity. We've been talking about this for months now. And it's so worth to keep spending time honing in on that, what that really means, and how this wants to show up in our lives, in action. Because it's all nice to have these concepts in our minds. What does that mean? But then to actually live from that place, that's what we're stepping into now, more and more and more. So open up your soul creativity, receive the impulses, receive the inspirations, the visions, and then have the courage to go for it. YOD, creation code 10. The symbolism here is that of the right hand of God, which stands for strength, control, responsibility, and sovereign power. And then we have Samech, and we talked last week about Samech being the symbol of a circle of protection. And I'm sensing it also as a container that gives us direction and that funneling energy, that focused energy. But it brings in a lot of protection, higher protection. And with that, we can lean into it with more trust. This whole dynamic that's playing out now, individually and globally, and specifically individually as pertaining to the bigger global vision. And I'm feeling that a lot of us are probably really becoming aware of our intuitive spiritual gifts amplifying, becoming stronger, perhaps more refined, perhaps taking on a very personal flavor where you're really getting a sense of like, oh, this is me, this is my gift, my unique part in this bigger game. And this is specifically how it wants to flow through me. And there's a humility in that as well. Being the vessel that is of service and really feeling the beauty of this humility. And I want to just make a distinction here because it's an empowering sense of humility. And as much as that sounds like a dichotomy here and a contradiction perhaps, but there's a softness and a peacefulness and a surrendering quality to this level of humility that allows us to become really pure as a vessel. And as such, we're really activating the power of our instrument, of us being the instrument. So stop your second guessing, stop the procrastination. This is time to put our ideas into action. And if you're having this fear or this feeling at times, and this actually can happen here for a while still, where we might feel at times like the wind is being taken out of our sails. Like one moment we're just feeling strong, we're going for it, we're moving forward with our passion and our ideas, and then it feels like suddenly we're dead in the water. And there can be a fear around that of like, oh my God, maybe I'm missing the train here. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not ready. But this wind, the spiritual energy is here for all of us, and it's not letting up. It's not going to let up. It's just going to keep intensifying. And it's up to us to make our sails available to catch that wind. So if you're feeling the wind being taken out of your sails, it's because most likely there was a slipping in attention. Insecurities perhaps, not quite being clear of where you're even headed. And so these are things to still keep honing in on and refining Where are you headed? What's the overall goal? What goal? What's your intentionality? What's your mission statement? Who are you here to be of service to? What is your part? What is your unique part? And then trusting that you are good enough. You are perfect for this role. Or else you would not have been chosen, or you would not have chosen this role. So readjust your sails. Make yourself ready again. Let the wind catch it and carry you. And it's a co-creation between where the wind wants to take you naturally and your fine-tuning. And then know that if you need a little break, if you need to slow down a little bit because it's all getting a bit much, you can always let off a little bit. Let yourself relax. And trust that the energy will pick up again when you're ready. But also don't resist the intensity right now. Don't resist this inner push. Watch for any tendencies to avoid, to distract yourself, and to numb out in any way. We've been talking about that too. Be present in the moment. Be that martial artist. Grounded, ready, but calm, peaceful, knowing that you know all the moves that you'll need in order to respond effectively, most effectively, to life and what's coming at you. So these are big lessons, big themes right now. And I'm going to not do the recap today just because we have been talking about these themes this whole time. And this video is getting a little long. And I want to respect your time. But if you need to re-listen to this again, maybe in a few days, maybe in another week, because again, these themes are not just here for a short time and then we'll shift completely. We will keep working with these same undercurrents. And at least I will keep needing these reminders to keep honing in my focus. And I really hope that this is helpful for you as well. And we're all in this together. So please leave me a comment if you have questions, or just share any of your own insights and experiences these days, because I'd really love to hear from you. Take care, everyone. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I will see you again next week.